Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll tell you the story of Birbal and the case of the vanishing field. In a small village nestled beside the Yamuna river lived a greedy landlord named Chhenaram, known for his sharper tongue and even sharper greed. He owned almost half the village's farmland, but that wasn't enough for him. He wanted more, especially the fertile patch of land owned by an old farmer named Gopal. Gopal had inherited this field from his grandfather and had worked on it for almost decades. It produced the best wheat in the region. Chhenaram offered to buy the land multiple times, but Gopal would refuse. "This land is not for sale," Gopal would say calmly. "It feeds my family." Frustrated, Chhenaram decided to take a different route. One morning, he stormed into Emperor Akbar's court, shouting dramatically, "My land has been stolen! A field has disappeared overnight!" "Disappeared?" Akbar repeated, amused. "Do fields grow legs now?" Chhenaram bowed deeply. "Your Majesty, my neighbor Gopal has extended his field illegally. His crops have crossed into my land. He has stolen a part of my field." Akbar raised his eyebrow. This sounds like trickery, not theft. But Chhenaram was prepared. "I have witnesses. My farmhands can confirm the line was crossed." The emperor turned to his wisest advisor. "Birbal, go and investigate this strange case of the walking land." Birbal arrived at the village the next day, dressed simply as usual. He was greeted by a tense crowd. Gopal stood quietly beside his field, while Chhenaram puffed like a rooster ready to fight. "Your Honor," Chhenaram said, bowing theatrically, "I have marked these boundaries with stones. And now look, his wheat have crept past it." Birbal looked around. Indeed, there were fresh stone markers, oddly clean, unlike the rest of the weathered up ones. Birbal crouched and picked one of them up. "This stone is newly placed." Chhenaram cleared his throat. "I just refreshed the markers last week for clarity." Birbal nodded and then turned to Gopal. "Have you moved these markers?" "No," Gopal replied calmly. "These are not where my grandfather placed them. I know my field like I know my palm. These stones lie." Birbal paced slowly, then said, "Tomorrow I will announce my judgment. But first, I'll need both of you to bring one thing to court. A bowl of soil from your respective fields." The next morning in Akbar's court, a curious crowd gathered. Gopal entered with a small wooden bowl filled with rich dark soil. Chhenaram followed, his silver bowl gleaming, filled with soil that seemed less earthly. Birbal inspected both. He then called for a royal gardener and handed them both samples. "Plant the same wheat seeds in each bowl and tend them for a week," Birbal instructed. "Water them equally, keep them under the sun, and let's see which one of them actually nurtures life." Chhenaram looked uneasy. A week later, the bowls were brought back to court. In Gopal's bowl, green shoots were sprouted, tall and healthy. In Chhenaram's bowl, the seeds had barely cracked. Birbal stood, holding the two bowls higher. "Your Majesty," he said, "this bowl," he raised Gopal's, "hold real soil, living and breathing earth that knows how to grow. The other," he held Chhenaram's, "is nothing but dry mud from a path scooped up to pretend." Akbar nodded slowly. Birbal continued, "Only someone who hasn't worked their field would fail to recognize their own soil, and only a liar would try to fake it." The court murmured in agreement. Chhenaram turned red, then pale. "You try to steal a man's legacy with fake markers and fake mud?" Akbar said sternly. "For this deceit you shall return 10 acres to the villagers and pay a fine to Gopal." As Chhenaram was escorted out in disgrace, Gopal bowed to Birbal. "You saw the truth in the soil." Birbal smiled. "Land doesn't lie, greed does." The emperor added with a chuckle, "And next time someone says their field disappeared, we'll ask them to grow proof." So the moral of the story is that truth is rooted deep. Greed can only cover the surface.